Ladies and gentlemen, here's the motherfucking tea.
It's not tea for me, it's coffee. And welcome back to another week of My Hero Academia Reviews. I'm your host, Scott Kazneko-Frericks, and over here is... Look, I'm pointing at you, Grant.
Hi, it's me, Grant. I'm also here to talk about My Hero Academia.
It's a manga and an anime.
It is. I've seen the anime. I've heard the manga is also good.
I think it's good. What about you, Nick Lenny Batorlandis?
Well, I don't got coffee this morning, but I do got Mr. Steak here. He's keeping me company, being a good
energy.
boy. Yeah, everyone's friend. I too have watched the My Hero, and it is why I'm here to talk about it with you, fellows, about the show that we saw this weekend.
So this week's episode was called Make It Happen, Shinso. And this is the episode where Shinso gets to step up and
make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really make it happen, Shinso.
Novel idea.
So last episode, we left off with him showing off his persona chords. Which, by the way, in terms of like an ability / supplementary piece of equipment, cool as ass name. Getting real persona vibes.
Just the fact that they have that kind of technology, that you don't have more heroes that have that are literally just using support items to do the stuff. Because you have so many different support items out there that can do so many different things that if he just turns a knob, he can make his voice sound exactly like someone else.
Does my voice sound different? Am I a new person now? Because I've changed all my hands off.
Yeah,
that's how it works. It's cool.
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean,
it's cool. They don't need to explain it, but the fact that technology is so easy to create that it just can exist however you need it. And I know they're at like the fancy schmancy hero school with the people who are obsessed with making cool shit. But
we haven't seen it for a semester. I feel like I lose track of time in this show. This is still their freshman year at Hero High, correct?
Yeah,
we're winter now.
We're heading into the second semester.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe they had plenty of time to research and make this support tool, but nah, not really.
It's been since fall. It's been since fall. They had the fall school festival. That's where he was like, I'm gonna get in the hero course, and that's what he's been working on.
By gum, good showing on that tournament or whatever, And
I guess Eraserhead's been doing some extracurricular tutelage of him because, he's got a lot of the same shit on.
By the way,
the guy sleeps.
I do kind of adore the visual motif that Shinso is literally inheriting. I'm not even 100% sure that that Horikoshi intended this when he came up with Shinso. But the fact that he's just basically taking over almost literally the mantle from Aizawa, both visually and in terms of being able to use that support cloth. And also as was pointed out last week, I think, the first time the vestiges made themselves apparent was when Deku
at the school festival.
Yeah, it was at the school festival when Deku was fighting Shinso. And now Shinso's back, and so are the vestiges. And I don't know, this just feels like a great, hey, it's all coming back, and it's all coming around, and I really like
circle.
That. Yeah,
it rhymes.
It's obvious that thematically that's what they were going with. The fact that, you're doing this whole thing with Midoriya and the vestiges, and the first person that helped him contact them. Oh, look, I guess that's another pathway in there.
Look how much we've both grown and changed since the last time this happened.
Yeah. And I legitimately am excited because, first of all, Shinso's ability to, change his voice, is used so good here. Not just in the terms of being able to throw somebody off, but in the way that it breaks down communication with between the enemy team.
I really... Oh, God.
No, I was just going to say that was amazing.
I really liked how they were kind of explaining how his power worked. Now he was like, I can't do this over an intercom or a microphone or something. I can't kind of force this to happen. They have to listen and respond to me. And I can't go through a mechanical, electronic voice changer. You have to hear my actual vocal cords. So that's why we need this fantasy device that changes my voice directly.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've always really liked about My Hero is the attention to combat strategy. Like, you have all of these people that have all these different quirks and abilities. How would they work together to face off against something that each of them alone would not be able to handle? Which was so fascinating in the sports festival when you had the building of the cavalry teams and how they all work together to synergize their quirks and actually show that some of them actually have some legitimate generalship about them. Like, you get to see which one of these, like, how many of these kids are actual leaders throughout the show.
And it was really cool, by the way. Can I just say that Froppy/Sue has, for a long time, been one of my favorite characters in the show. Like, low key, but I love her. Partially because she's just kind of adorable. Like, legit in every incarnation of her, in the Japanese version, the English version, anime, manga, she's incredibly adorable, but she is also she's gonna be an amazing hero. She is gonna be stupendous hero when she is fully grown up, because here, first of all, she's like, by the way, one of your pointers stuck to that guy, and fucking like Kirishima was like, that's amazing that you noticed, and Froppy's like, it's amazing you didn't. And then
more a problem that you did not.
Yeah. And then she points out, like, by the way, I have an idea of how to get around his sense of smell, and it's with her secreted mucus.
Yeah, the fact that she can eject her stomach from her mouth and use that. Like, they found a way to make that work.
That's technically separate. Like, she can do that, but what she's doing is the secreted mucus.
I thought Midoriya and Mineta both kind of looked at each other. She found a way to use that.
Well, they were talking about the secreted mucus because she basically lists off, like, I've got the tongue, I can climb and stick to stuff and jump, I can spit out my digestive system, and I can secrete mucus. It was like this kind of 4-point thing that I feel like she still has not quite showed how. Because for
a while, my image was like she puked up her guts and just like
slathered it.
No. She pulls down her suit and shows off the. In fact, that's the thumbnail.
Coming off her skin.
Yeah, in fact, that's the thumbnail. But yeah,
real quick before we go that far ahead, though, when you were talking about the, like, just how this series uses powers and, like, kind of shows them off in, like, different strategic and, like, different ways. It's also like, I guess I don't follow a ton of, like, Western comics a ton, so maybe this is something that happens more. But, like, we've got the one guy on the B team who's, like, basically Beast, but we get that added level of, like, also I can turn it off and on at will, and I will use that during combat to, like, evade. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I think Beast is a neat X-Man, but I never think about the idea of, like, what if you could just, like, snap it off and be like, oh, you're looking for this big hulky dude to punch, I'm just gonna slip right through you and then turn it right back on and smack you as a big hulky dude. That's neat.
They played around with that idea a bit. I'm not sure how much in the comics. In the first class stretch of movies, they played around with this idea that he could create this, I guess, this injection that would allow him to suppress his mutant gene for a while so he could look normal, and the makeup and effects artist wouldn't have to spend all that time and money making him blue.
Wouldn't have to limit his screen time so he looked like a beast the whole time.
It's the same reason why Mystique walked around looking like Jennifer Lawrence so much.
Also, she complained heavily about the outfit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seemed like a really unique, like, kind of twist on a power I've seen for decades that I just at least hadn't really seen, like, highlighted in such a way that I liked a lot and surprised me.
Oh right, yeah, no, the original mutant gene thing, the injection he gave, it was just to get rid of his, like, big hands and feet, but it backfired and accelerated him. I forgot about that.
Monstrous.
I will say I still love the fact that is just Beast with a little bit of Hulk, just a little bit, because what they essentially did was he can he's always furry. It's
actually more like Beast if you cross him with Sabretooth. Because Sabretooth has that same thing where the more feral he gets, the more bestial he gets, the stronger he gets.
Oh, I didn't know about that. You know what? It's insane. So when it comes to the X-Men, my only memories are from that original 90s cartoon, and it's been a very long time. That and the movies and stuff, but I mean, like, OG X-Men before, like, the cinematic universes began.
Classic X-Men.
Yeah. But anyway, but But yeah, it's really
Lots
fun.
of stuff happened.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened. By the way, I want to give a
This
shout out.
episode was very dense.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out real quick to one of the best pieces of animation in the season thus far, and like just legitimately a really good cut from My Hero Academia, which is when Kaminari dashes in and attacks Air Prison Dude and Beast. It's just a really, really good shot. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fluid. Everything is on twos, and oh my god, it was. I don't know who animated that particular shot, that clip, but woo, that was sick.
No, yeah, that looked real good. This was like on the whole a very good looking episode. Like
Yes.
I thought a lot of stuff visually was cool. And during that fight, I feel like this is one of the first times where like I feel like Kaminari has been able to get a decent shock on someone and was not immediately stupid. he kind of got some jolts on Beast. He got thrown, had to like I don't know if he was like shocked a dislocated shoulder back into place, but I definitely saw him like slap and electrocute himself to get up. And he just at no point seemed to have the mental deficiency that always comes with using his power.
I think that
nice.
I think that actually came about because they made a big deal in season 3, and I remember this because for some reason I've been going back to the seasons of My Hero. I wonder why.
Weird.
There was that big sequence where they're all doing the training so they can become better accustomed to their abilities. And yeah, I'm not surprised at all that at this point Kaminari, when he's not using full power,
he can up his voltage pretty significantly and still not kick in his weakness.
Yeah,
because he already knows, thanks to the school festival, that he's at a horrific strategic disadvantage when it comes to Vinehead Girl Shiozaki.
Yeah, and I think he's a little bit. So when it comes to, say, a fellow classmate, he's not going to use full power. So it makes sense that when he goes up against Beast Dude and electrifies him, that he's okay afterwards. But it is a good piece of consistency to show that he is growing. Nothing. I love a good what do you call it? Limiter or a cost for an ability. But at some point, it gets a little old when it happens every single time.
Yeah, if he just ends up like, every single time. It's two people that really got the shaft this episode, especially coming off a big damn hero moments last season. Poor Kirishima.
Oh, yeah.
It just backhand, get the fuck out of here. And Koda, one day Koda will get a chance to shine. I don't know.
One day, the precious baby.
The sad thing is, I could almost see with I feel like how little attention they give Koda. You could almost tell me like into the season, Shinso's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm transferring into the hero course. Is there anyone who wants to transfer out?" And Koda would just like sheepishly raise his hand and leave because I feel like that's just how he's treated.
One thing I thought they were really setting up for, though, was to give Koda an actual moment here, because they did a big thing about playing into how, Beast Boy, the more bestial he gets, like the less intelligent he gets, the more animal-like he becomes. I thought Koda was going to be able to manipulate him or something, like say like, okay, he's full beast mode right now. If I tell him to do something, because I talk to animals, he'll do it. And I thought they were
that would have actually been really cool.
I thought they were playing into something like that, but that would have clashed with giving Shinso a chance to make it happen. I don't know, because then you have like two people doing essentially the same kind of power move.
Well, and there'd be a fun thing of like just one of the characters being like, I thought only one of them was a hypnotist kind of thing. So you could just have we can use our powers in similar ways.
Yeah,
but,
unfortunately,
I really thought they were playing into that, but no, he just backhand a lot, saved double kill on him and Kirishima, just done.
Funny enough, so far, I feel like Koda. I think Koda's best scene he's gotten so far in the anime was actually in I think movie 2 it was. He's the unfortunate thing with Koda is that he is not a combat hero.
Yeah.
He can't be. He's got to focus on search and rescue. That's kind of his whole thing.
I want him to be the ranger class. I just want him to be pet guy and just have cool animal summons for his fights.
Out of everybody in class 1A, he and Sugar Hulk both feel like we need to round out this class with something. They just kind of threw them in there.
I feel like Tape Guy almost falls into that, but he sometimes gets some cool team stuff with other characters. So he gets away from it.
And he has legit cool support stuff. Just being Scotch Spider-Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Tail Guy.
See,
Tail
Tail
Guy's
Guy-
sort of
yeah.
Dude, he's literally called the martial arts hero Tailman. Like his entire thing is just that he is an exceptionally good martial artist.
His
with
balance is beyond reproach because he's got that tail.
Yeah, and his third appendage allows him to like basically throw people completely off. He is like, and it is always really cool to watch him fight. Like again, in that episode, in that season 3 episode where we see everyone training, he goes head to head with Kirishima and is holding his ground because he's just that good, which is cool. That's really cool. Like, but it's very interesting to me because like one thing that unfortunately the series has been a little bit here or there on is that UA is supposed to be the #1 school. Like their pass fail ratio is extreme, which kind of makes me wonder, what do the other schools got?
Well, we've seen some of them, and some of them have students that are way fucking cooler than Tailman.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we saw that other one that was oh wow, I actually forget the name.
Yeah, we saw Miss Joke's class. We saw that essentially the Naruto school.
But they are you know, it's like they are supposed to be the rival to UA. They're like the rival.
The other big school.
They're also a year ahead of them, I think, is like another thing they were going for.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool still to see these characters, like, you know, like I really like these characters, but you're right. Koda has just not gotten a chance, and I'd like to see him. Like, I'm okay with Kirishima kind of like getting.
He had his time last season.
He had his moment. I don't need him to have a moment here, but just to get absolutely wrecked just feels like, ooh.
Yeah, it does feel like an extra, just like, oh, okay, gotcha. You don't get to do anything this fight.
Well, but that's, again, it's sort of fine, because in that regard, these are how fights can go. Like, a guy who's, like, really good can just get caught off guard, and the next thing he knows, he's out. Also, they're not, you know, fighting for their lives, so they're probably not 100% on top. But it was really cool because as far as a combination of team members, Shinso, Sue, and Kaminari is such like, okay, what the hell do you do with that? And as it turns out, a lot.
Yeah.
Which I found really cool. Like when the moment that fucking Beast Dude is like, wait, there's 3 Frappies, and I'm like, oh yeah. Fuck yeah, let's go.
You can't track their scent now, so it's Russian roulette as to if you get the right one, and you got the wrong one. Conveniently.
It's really funny to me, by the way, because sometimes when I'm watching My Hero Academia, I wonder to myself, what if this had been a show back in the 90s/early 2000s? This shit would have been on Toonami. You know, this shit would have been on Toonami.
Isn't it on Toonami?
Well,
right
I mean,
now
okay.
still?
Yeah.
OG.
What it
Afternoon
is.
Toonami.
TVY7 Toonami.
Oh, so you'd have had to have shifted some things around, right?
Some stuff probably would not like they probably could have gotten away with characters dying. They like Toonami back then was way more lax because of the cable network. They allowed blood in Dragon Ball. It was nuts.
I was gonna say we really haven't seen him use his power, but Vlad the Blood Hero, would that have been too intense for?
Y7? I think the biggest one they would have had to have changed was Stain, because every fight with him, there's blood everywhere.
Oh my god, right? Like I can't even imagine what they would have tried to do with that. They probably would have. It probably would have been awkward, and they probably would have had a lot of cuts and a lot of implied motions and stuff. And it probably would have ended up like Rurouni Kenshin did back in the day when it was on Toonami, which, by the way, was real bad.
I forgot that happened.
It did, and it was a mistake.
Yeah, this episode was a lot of fun. We got to see some cool tactics. I especially love the way it ended, where they made a big thing about everybody calling Beast Man Apoca Beast, which is a cool fucking name, and he should embrace that.
Which, by the way, like I need to read what that is in Japanese, because they don't say Apoca Beast. They say something else, and I'm like, what is that?
But somebody yells out in that name. It's like, wait a minute. Did they just say, oh no? And
That's not something they would know.
And Sue at that point had already like tied up everybody else and just slammed him in the back of his head.
By the way, I gotta say, the shot where she kicks him is super good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't know if I should point this out. Have you noticed the artists have been giving Froppy a little more attention in certain places? Because I've noticed that the artists have been giving Froppy more attention in certain places.
I almost mentioned it last week because there was one real good shot But then we got like a couple more this episode. I'm like, okay, this is just gonna be a trend.
Yeah. The artists know what they're doing. I'm not gonna.
They do. They play into the fan service hard
Yeah.
on these 16-year-old girls.
Yeah, I'm not here to moralize. I'm not here to fucking get on a tangent. I'm just
They're
saying.
fictional.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's there, and it is. It's
In other news, I really liked Scale Dude's power.
dude, fucking like just
that
firing.
guy seems cool. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of want to see him.
Yeah, he looked like real filler for a while. I'm like, is he staff? Is he just there to watch over the cage? Oh no, he's one of them.
Yeah,
He gets to actually do stuff.
yeah, no, it is
He
actually.
fires these like he reminds me of kind of going back to X-Men Evolution. There was a character of the main cast in that who could just like shoot bones out of his body. Reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, just the fucking, and also the sound
Even
effect is just a fucking like a fucking machine gun, and it is. I love it. It's really cool. I forget what his name is actually. Like, unfortunately, I'm just
don't
never gonna. I don't think I'm gonna remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wiki right now of Class 1B, and since he's not wearing his weird little face drapery thing,
It's not
in
immediately
the
telling
class
you who he
picture,
is.
I can't tell you.
Oh, but I will say this though, his design is sick.
I do think he looks kind of cool.
His design is based off of Shang-Chi, and I'm like,
Mm.
oh, that's so cool looking. I fucking love it.
Speaking of which, you see the trailer for that
trailer.
drop today?
Oh, well, that's Shang-Chi. Well, similar pronunciation, but yes,
I
I,
know.
saw that.
That I said that because of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
pronunciation.
Dragon Shroud, yeah, thank you. And yeah, Shang-Chi, that looks cool. Like I like Wushu, so hopefully,
I'm down.
hopefully this Disney-funded Wushu live-action film is better than the other Disney live-action funded.
The difference is this one's supposed to be an action movie, so
yeah.
True.
But so yeah, but yeah, this was a good episode. I'm really happy to see. Like, I will say, I think the problem that I ran into this arc when I was reading the manga, and I'm still running into it here, is that we got thrown into this concept immediately. Like, after an introductory episode where it's like, okay, hey, get to remind yourself of what the cast and their abilities are. Then immediately after that, it's like, okay, now they're fighting Class B, and that's a little like, whoa, what? Out of just nowhere, it's like, boom, this is happening.
Yeah, that said, I feel like, and this is like, I understand, the first episode of the season, like, we still got that. We want to like reintroduce you and get you kind of back to being familiar with everybody in the team. This arc seems like a very good way to just let that happen very naturally.
Like they didn't need that first episode.
They really didn't, because like this whole episode was kind of like, hey, remember this squad's powers? And I feel like I'm guessing we're gonna do the classic My Hero thing where like we're really gonna focus on like 2 or 3 of these matches, and the other ones are gonna be like, we'll see a second of them, like, oh, and then Class B took that, Class A took that one.
I'm hoping that's the case, but I'm willing to watch it out otherwise, because I don't know. There are a lot of characters here. It feels like they want to introduce.
Yeah,
that's also
formally.
Fair. But yeah, it just feels like this, like, we didn't need that intro episode, because this arc was going to just be a good, like, we're going to kind of split them up and we're going to have to show them all using their powers anyway. So here you go.
Yeah.
But I get you wanting to do it all at once also.
I've heard from some people that it's a contractual thing, actually. Like, that
they have to split the season into 2 specific arcs.
Well, no, sorry, that they have to have an introductory episode.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what I heard.
Like, just every season we need a good jumping on episode to start this always.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but
it makes sense, because you have your new season starting up, and I'd never watched this before. Let me see what this is about. Okay, so you get the new person introduced to that, as opposed to any number of streaming services that you can start the show and watch through like a normal person. But hey,
not everybody's got access to those,
I guess. And children in Japan, I suppose.
Yeah, that's actually a moderately good point. You probably have a lot of kids who do need it, which, I mean, kids are dumb. Who cares?
Yeah, why are we appealing to them with our cool action cartoons?
Kids aren't the ones going out there buying the action figures and the dolls and all that stuff. You did not spend that much time drawing Sue's ass for a board.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's that being said, we can drop that whole subject because we've already beat that one to death.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, I do legitimately, I did really like this episode. I also, God, it was also just beautiful looking from beginning to end. Like beyond just that one sequence, good episode, beautifully animated, great fight. Like setting up for now Shinso's going to be on the other team, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, at the main event, like on the way other side of it. I enjoyed this episode. I had some like weird feelings while going through it though. Like it did have some like beautiful eye candy moments. It had some fun character moments. At the end of it though, when it actually got to the end of the episode, for whatever reason, even though this episode was incredibly dense, I felt like the end of the episode felt like the midpoint to me for some reason. Like we were going to move on to the next thing. And I guess on one side of that, it's doing its job and leaving me wanting more. But on the other side, while it was so like packed with stuff, I felt like there could have been more. I don't know.
It was packed with stuff, but like in a weird way, it also was packed with kind of like, I don't want to say fluff because it's stuff that needed to happen, but it just felt like kind of like we're going to tell you this. Yeah, like we're going to tell you this. We're going to sort of retell you it so you see it from a different angle and maybe get more context, but nothing else has happened. And now we're going to cut to other characters who are going to explain what you just saw. Now we're going to do some more stuff. We're going to kind of repeat this. And now the fight's over. Yeah. And it's kind of like it was all cool and important stuff that needed to happen to solve and resolve that fight. But it just kind of felt like it was treated in a, here you go. And it kind of felt weird.
I can appreciate their attempt at the non-linear storytelling. Like where it's like an event happens and then a flashback happens to fill in the information. But yeah, the fact that it did kind of throw off the flow of things just a little bit. But I honestly didn't mind it so much.
Yeah, so. Like I didn't have too much of a problem, but I can definitely see where you would maybe come from. Like this felt like a long time and a lot of stuff happened, but also like it wasn't. That's kind of just what happened.
I also think that one of the other issues that we run into is that we don't. Okay, I'll be really frankly honest. I do not care about Vine. I think I think her ability is interesting. I think her design is neat. I even think her gimmick is a gimmick.
Her gimmick of being this holy devout woman into some weird BDSM stuff.
Yeah, but I just genuinely I don't care about her. And when it comes to like out of all of them, like Beast Dude was the most interesting. And even then, it's like, okay, you're just kind of here. Like they're not compelling or they're not cool and intimidating like the villains. They're not compelling like the rest of the heroes. They're just supposed to be these other characters that they're going up against.
They're neat power obstacles.
Yeah, and that's why.
And I think that does get kind of the crux of some of this here, where it felt like since obviously they give you the intro to those characters, they give you a little bit more on those characters. You get those character moments, and at the end of the day, I kind of agree. I don't really care about them. I felt like this episode could have focused on Shinso a little bit more in that regard, where he was given some time here, and he's going to get a lot more in the next one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just felt that, make it happen, Shinso. All right, now go away. It was kind of how.
All right, you made it happen. Way to go.
Well, yeah. Well, Shinso, remember, Shinso's going to be, he's on both teams.
He's the main antagonist on this one.
Which, oh my God, can you imagine? Like, oh man, imagine if the other team had hit Shinso or like disabled Shinso, like not made him not mortally wounded or like
just bitched him out in this round.
Yeah, what if they had damaged him to the point where he could not continue the training? What would they have done?
All right, he's not going to be on that team after all.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oopsies.
And sort of interestingly,
Oh,
like
recovery girl. There you go.
I guess maybe Recovery Girl is just kind of waiting in the background, like, I'm ready. But even then, like, if he'd gotten his arm like fully broken, would he have even had the energy to continue even after he's
They
been...
probably would have been like, maybe you shouldn't be a hero.
Considering how quickly in those earlier episodes Midoriya recovered from a completely exploded arm, yeah, probably.
Well, yeah, but then he was out. Like, remember, when it comes to the recovery stuff, it takes your energy.
It still takes it still takes your energy to recover.
Well, it's not the world we live in.
Yeah, and, like, obviously the story wasn't going to do that. I'm just saying it would have been really funny if, say, Beast Dude had hit him so hard that it's like, oh yeah, he can't keep going. He's got to take the next couple days off.
He's got to go rethink his entire career.
Or, oh man, what, like, I probably would have disqualified them, but if like somebody on a team was like, hey, so we accidentally broke Shinso's leg. Whoops, looks like he's not going to be continuing. He's not going to be on the other team now.
What I'm interested
to postpone.
What I'm interested to see in the final match in, I don't know, like 8 episodes from now or so, will be the fact that on that team you have Shinso and the dude that can copy powers for a limited amount of time.
Might
so
have
you might
two
see him,
Shinsos.
you might have 2 Shinsos there. So it'll be cool to see how that plays out. But in the interim, we're just going to have a bunch of filler bouts, it feels like. And it feels like that. I know there will be character development and things that go on, but that is legitimately the vibe I have going forward right now.
Of all the series, like My Hero filler is typically some of the best. So it's like not the worst thing to be lining up for, but kind of. Like this definitely feels like they could surprise me. But this does feel like not a whole lot of important plot stuff. This is going to be more of a check-in, so you can kind of gauge what everyone can do now.
Yeah,
and
let's see how everybody's been progressing, and especially some of these people that haven't been fighting villains in Class 1A.
I can also see this just being like kind of a setup arc for whatever's coming next. Like, here, we're going to kind of give you a preview of everybody's like kind of power jumps since the last time you saw them. So when we have a big scary villain come in, it can be like, hey, remember how during this testing thing, we showed how this was my limit? Well, now it's not. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I should point out, so kind of deviating kind of a lot. Have either of you guys seen the trailer for the next movie coming out in the summer?
Nope.
I have not.
Yeah.
Or if I did, I saw it like briefly on a Twitter or like on a tweet.
Yeah.
What's its premise? Let me guess. A different villain shows up while the gang is out somewhere that they aren't normally, doing something that they wouldn't normally do.
Only heroes available.
They're the
right
only
now.
people around. And somehow it's up to Deku and Bakugo to save the day.
If I remember
Actually,
correctly, it's the entire concept is that there are these villains that are like placing these bombs all over the world, and so they have to travel to
globetrotting.
Yeah, it's a globetrotting movie, but also Deku gets framed for murder.
Oh, even better.
That's right. I did see that. I do remember seeing like that screenshot of Izuku Midoriya wanted for mass murder or something.
Yeah.
I saw Briner tweet that out. Wait, what?
He's got to. I got to imagine like what it was like for him to see that. Like he's like, oh man, this movie's going places.
What I do.
Also, it's very interesting because this one, I'm really glad this one is happening in summer because it's cashing in on a dynamic that is happening later in in this arc leading into the next arc between 3 characters, and that's very fascinating. Also, the key art has just been gorgeous. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I hope we don't end up with something like we did last season where they completely nerf one whole fight just to make sure that movie comes out better. Yeah. I really wanted to see Meteor versus Overhaul. It's fully done.
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned because I know what happens, and I'm trying my best not to hype up the next arc. I really don't want to. I don't want to give you like this grandiose
set up these expectations.
Yeah, but I will say, like, if they fuck up the next arc, which is 100% going to require some beautiful animation, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, these
that'd be a real bummer.
Super duper fuck these movies. I didn't need the first one. The second one had some cool shit that I really appreciated.
Was pretty good.
Yeah,
this feels like oh god.
The second one was actually like good in a lot of places. Where the first one, the only reason the first one has any benefit at all, the only reason to watch it is because you get to see Deku and All Might fighting together. That is legitimately the only reason to watch that movie. It is the only like real benefit that it gives. And then the second one is like, oh, that whole shit with Bakugo was actually nuts, insane, crazy, over the top, and
like beautiful.
Yeah, like I love that.
That's what I understand these movies are kind of a vehicle for doing things that you'll never see in the anime.
Yeah.
I feel like it's weird because it's like the reverse conundrum I have with Dragon Ball Super, where I'm kind of just like, just only make movies. I don't need a show. Just give me a movie, just a movie every year, and I'm gonna be thrilled. And instead, it's like My Hero keeps going, what if we give you a movie and a season we might bite into for that movie? And stop it! Don't just give me that good season. I liked that.
Yeah.
Work on the season in the off, like work on the movie when you're not working on the season, so that then you can have something to come out in the interim and get people hyped for the next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, if you told me that the Moro arc was going to be a movie, I don't know exactly how I'd feel about that because it's a little long. Like it could.
There's a lot to pack in there.
Yeah, there's actually a lot that it could have benefited from and could benefit from a show. But at the same time, like, damn, like Battle of Gods and Broly are actually like really good pieces of Dragon Ball media. I don't want like Super 2 if they're just going to do the same thing they did with Super 1 where they rush the production and it's a week to week.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh god, we're way off track.
Back to
way
My Hero.
off topic. This episode was good. It leaves me cautiously optimistic for the remaining bouts.
Yeah.
I liked our last check-in with Wind Prison Guy, where he reveals that while he was being dragged away by Sue wrapped up in her tongue, he was very distracted by that. And, just not that I blame him. I like that you could, like, before they showed that, even as she's dragging him away, you can just see his eyes are like bulging as they're going.
What's happening?
You know, is understandable given the situation, but the added context was fun.
Look,
You're wrapped up in a girl's tongue. Like that's just what's
what
happening.
high school boy would not kind of freak out when that happens?
Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, you have feelings about it one way or another, but there are feelings there.
Yeah, like it's completely unrealistic and can never happen. But if you put yourself in that scenario, it's like that is literally her tongue. Her whole tongue is around you. How in the fuck do you respond to that?
Her tongue, which is, God help me, like 100 meters long. Just
unfortunately for Suyu, her first big villain to fight is Jalapeno, the spicy skinned villain.
Oh,
she
God.
can't throw him with her tongue anymore. What's she gonna do?
Oh no, and she has
her nemesis is just somebody that can release capsaicin from their flesh.
Oh no.
Could she? All right, isn't Bakugo's sweat like nitroglycerin or something? Could she make tongue contact with him? Like, would that be a problem?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm guessing nitroglycerin is almost certainly toxic. So
I would think there'd have to be some sort of component to it where you would not want to ingest it.
It's also the fact that you wouldn't want to necessarily conceal him in anything because he could just that too blow her tongue to smithereens.
Yeah, I know. I would assume that in a scenario like this would be her aiding him. But then again,
we're talking potentially in a sparring situation. Can she regenerate?
I'd like to think she can regenerate her tongue. Actually, I like to think that if that's fascinating. I don't think she's. Hold on, can frogs? Actually, no, she's an amphibian, not a lizard, so unlikely.
Yeah,
I don't.
Also,
think
people are bringing up that nitroglycerin is used in some heart for some heart stuff. So fair enough. There are times humans ingest it medically, so I guess. Might not be a problem.
That's fair.
But yeah, the other thing I want to point out might be a little like, I don't know if people watch the Next Time Ons, but there was a line in it that I think is interesting, and I think it's because of something that happened in a movie that they couldn't avoid. That doesn't make sense canonically.
Uh-oh, what
was the line?
So, like, for the next team going up, Tokuyami's in it. And the last line of the trailer is, Tokuyami's new power will finally be revealed for the first time in Japan.
Yeah.
That is a move he's used before outside of Japan, but we have not seen it in the show proper yet. So everyone's going to act real surprised when it happens. Maybe like that time he flew during the second movie and no one said anything about it being weird or something they'd never seen him do before.
Oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that.
There was a whole lot of things that they just did in the movies that they hadn't done in the
done the
anime yet.
Like how we saw fucking Endeavor's scar And
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
wait, what's that about?
But I just really loved the line. I have it right here just so I could know I was saying it properly. Tokoyami's new power will finally be revealed for the first time in Japan. It's just like such an awkward way to be like, you're going to be surprised by this thing you've seen.
Yeah. It's funny. Actually, I'm actually still very surprised that the movie didn't spoil one particular thing that we haven't seen yet. It's
good for us.
Yeah, because it actually takes place after, at the very least, after our current arc, and I actually think after the other arc. I think it takes place after the arc after this one.
Such a weird decision.
It is actually really fucking weird. Like, to be honest, weird fucking move. But there's another thing that's coming up that I was sort of surprised but glad was not spoiled by the movie. But
All right. Yeah. Final thoughts? Solid episode. Good. Like I said, leaves me cautiously optimistic for the remaining fights, even though I have that vibe of like, like canon filler kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like a lot of parts of this arc, even though I feel like my overall complaint that due to the fact that we just can't, have no reason to grow attached to Class B so much right now, it makes them very awkward to put in the team up against them. You don't have this emotional engagement, especially because nothing's on the line here. This isn't, hey,
yeah,
this
it's
is
not a pass fail. It's not one of you one class is getting flunked.
Yeah,
a lot of you already have your license to go do hero shit.
This is almost like an exhibition match in a way. There's nothing at stake. Although it does, the biggest thing here is whether or not Shinso wants to be a hero and whether or not, how he'll place. That's basically that's the biggest factor here is for Shinso. And I like Shinso. I increasingly like Shinso, actually. But it also just kind of makes it a little bit hard to get into the stakes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was episode 4 of season 5. Make it happen, Shinso. He made it happen, and let's see if he makes it happen again next week. Thank you all so much for joining us for another review. These again drop every Monday at 2:30 on Stream 4-Star, and will be going up live later today on 4-Star Bento.
It's back, baby.
It's back, baby. And you can expect most likely other stuff to start showing up there soon too, in a similar vein such as this. I don't want to go too much into detail yet, but when you see it, you'll see it. Thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to stay safe, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Plus Ultra.